Hi everybody, my name is Itza, and today, I think the title is self-explanatory, but today I'm going to be making a video on what it is like to live without eating food. And you're probably thinking, that's not possible. You can't survive without food, which is true, but my case is a little different. I don't eat anything by mouth. I have a feeding tube, which I will explain and get into as the video goes along. So I suffer from multiple chronic illnesses and I have a ton of diagnoses, but today I'm gonna be specifically focusing on my chronic illness of gastroparesis. Gastroparesis does not have a cure, and the area I'm in, the treatment is kind of limited, I would say, and not very advanced. So I've gotten all possible treatments and so far nothing has worked. So I'm basically being kept alive by a tube sticking out of my stomach and an IV machine. Gastroparesis, for those of you who don't know, is, like I mentioned previously, it is a chronic illness. That means your stomach is paralyzed. It does not digest food, it does not break down food, and it does not move food to your intestines. It's essentially a dead organ. And last July of 2020, I had surgery to have my stomach removed as a way of possibly treating my illness, and unfortunately it ended up having more complications than the benefits the doctors thought it would have on me. So what I have left is about the size of a quarter or a coin, a small coin, of a stomach left. That's like about this big. So every day I do try to eat by mouth, even if it's a cracker or something, and I throw everything up. Nothing works. So it came to a point where I was severely malnourished. I was going to the hospital every single week, and for some reason they kept discharging me and I kept coming back home and the same symptoms all over again. Extreme abdominal pain, intestinal pain, a lot of vomiting, very weak, very lethargic. I was on the floor a lot, and then it got to a point in October, it was, that I went to the hospital once again, and they ended up finally admitting me because I was technically on the verge of dying. In the hospital, I was put on a ton of machines. I ended up slipping into a coma basically for 10 days, and I couldn't talk, I couldn't walk, I couldn't bathe, I couldn't eat. It was looking very bleak, and I was not responding to medications, IV medications, and that hospitalization essentially took a turn for the worse, and everybody there was pretty much certain I was not going to make it. And I could make a whole separate video about what that experience was like, slipping into a coma, being in a coma-like state, and how it feels. And yeah, so as I mentioned previously, I had surgery to have my stomach removed. I currently have a feeding tube, and I'll be showing that right now. Okay, so I'm gonna show you what my feeding tube looks like. Don't mind the color. It's not a pretty color, but it's body fluids, it's bile, it's a mix of different things. And I do clean it out twice a day, in the morning and at night. So I'm gonna show you what that looks like right now. So I have it right here. As you can see, it's kind of dark right now. That's bile from both my stomach and my intestine, pretty much. It has 3 stops. So this one is the main one I feed through. This goes straight to my intestine. The tube, it looks like one, but it's divided into 2. And then this one is the gastric one. This one goes into my stomach. And then this one is the balloon. So there's an inflated balloon inside my belly, and if it stays, as long as it stays inflated, the tube is never going to fall out. So that's what keeps it tight and taut. So that's what it looks like. And the gauze is to prevent leakage on my clothes and to protect the skin. It protects the skin because the skin does get very irritated with all those stomach and intestinal fluids, and it burns the skin around it. So this is what it looks like, and it's ready to be cleaned. I can make a whole video on how to clean it and how I feed, but that's pretty much it. I eat basically through the tube like you saw, and I just keep on getting sicker. And I know a lot of people tell me, but you look okay, you look fine, you sound fine. But here's the thing, I just am very good at hiding how I feel, especially from social media and people who are not living in my household. So everybody knows, oh yeah, she's kind of sick, and that's about it. That's about the extent of it. No one really knows the depth and how close I've come to dying these past few months alone, and it's been very scary. And this is partly why I decided to make this video and talk about it. I want to create awareness. I want to share my story. I want to find people that have had a similar experience that I can relate to, possibly talk to, because I don't know anybody. Yes, I can talk to my family and I rely on them very much for emotional and physical support. But it's not the same as having someone you can truly relate to. So that's also a reason why I'm doing this. I've had more appointments than I could possibly count. I have a collection of hospital wristbands. I have multiple ER visits, multiple surgeries, biopsies, procedures, medications. Everything's trial and error, because so far, for me personally, nothing has worked as far as treatment goes. Yes, I had the surgery to have my stomach removed. Yes, I have a feeding tube that is basically keeping me alive. It just, nothing has worked. And my doctors have slowly dropped me. They don't know what else to do with me. I have been told they don't feel comfortable handling my case. They don't have the expertise to handle my case. They don't believe me. They just stopped listening to me. And because tests and procedures, they're not able to concretely find something wrong, they immediately just gaslight me, and they're like, no, but you're fine. And I'm like, I'm not. I still am throwing up every single day. I don't know how my teeth have not falling out I developed seizures because of how sick I became. My heart, I've been having trouble with my heart. I have just a lot of stuff, and no one knows the answer. I only have 2 doctors left that have stuck by me and have said that they're not going to quit on me, and that they're looking at outside sources and outreaching people from different states and different hospitals to see if anybody just can help me, because I can't keep living like this. And it's just difficult. It really is. So I eat through my tube, and I eat with an IV bag, which kees me hydrated. I'll also be including that right here. So this is what my IV setup looks like. I don't know if you can tell right now, but it's on standby because I had to change the settings. But I have 2 bags. This one has the feed. As you can see, it's like a milk basically. And then this one has the sterile water. So the line goes through this machine, and it's a very long one, until it eventually connects like this to my tube, which goes to the intestine. As you can see, this has 3 stops, and this is essentially how I feed. If I hit start on the machine, the feed will start running from this tube, and it'll go straight into my tube. And I usually sleep with it. I leave it on for at least 8 hours, so all of this gets emptied and I have enough nourishment in my body for the afternoon and at night. So this is what it looks like. It's just 2 bags and a pole and the kangaroo machine. So essentially this machine controls how fast the liquid goes into my stomach. It right here has the mLs, the feeding rate, and the water rate, which is also called the flush, which is what flushes the milk to go fully in. So this is what it looks like when I'm hooked up to the machine. That's how it looks. And one bag, it's 2 bags as you saw. One bag is filled with sterile water and the other bag is filled with my feed, which is sort of like, it's a nutritional blend of vitamins and things that your body needs, like potassium, magnesium, stuff like that. It's essentially, to put it very simple, it's like a protein shake. It has protein. It's not a protein shake for bulking up. It's just like a Pediasure boost type of shake. So I hook that up in my IV machine and I plug it in and I leave it running all day. I take breaks so I can clean out my tube and I could re-sterilize it. I clean it twice a day and I have to flush it with a syringe, a very large syringe with water or saline, or I usually use Pedialyte. It cleans it very well, better than water, and it like eats through the thick parts, because when the milk dries it's very sticky and very thick. So that's how I eat. And another question I get is like, do you ever feel hungry at all since you're constantly feeding through the tube? I am starving all the time. Even though I know I'm getting nourished through the tube, it's like, it's not a stream of feed that goes into your body. It's depending on what rate your body tolerates, that's how it's gonna go in. Right now my rate is 55 mLs for both the sterile water and the feed, and that's a few drops an hour. It's like a little drop like of feed, and it goes slowly, like 10 drops an hour, 20 drops an hour. It's not like a stream. So it's a very slow process, and it takes approximately 8 hours for an entire bag to empty. So I am being fed like a little bird with drops for 8 hours. So I do feel hungry all the time. I do get cravings all the time. And sometimes I do give into those cravings, and every single time I instantly regret it. I end up throwing up violently, and I end up with the worst possible stomach and intestinal pain you can ever imagine. Worse than birthing contractions, worse than just, I've never felt a pain like that. And some doctors I've been talking to outside of my usual team have proposed the idea that I might have something called abdominal epilepsy, and I'm gonna be getting tested for that soon, hopefully. So I'm still waiting for a lot of answers, but other than that, thank you so much for watching this video and taking the time out to learn about gastroparesis and about me and listening to me. If you have any questions or suggestions or anything you would like to share your thoughts, please feel more than welcome to leave your thoughts down below. I am very eager to read and reply to them, and I think that's pretty much it for this video. If you have any other questions or suggestions on videos I could do, just let me know. And I hope you guys are doing great and are safe and are happy and healthy. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. So bye.